Hi, it's Mr. Set from CaribCultura and welcome to mi isla. Carib is short for Caribbean and cultura is the Spanish word for culture. At CaribCultura, we celebrate the beauty of Caribbean culture. In creating community content here in Mi Isla, it was very important to construct a community where Caribbean people all over the world could support one another and also be inspired by Caribbean entrepreneurs. I conducted a case study in order to determine what specific characteristics Caribbean people possess that makes us a dynamic influence to be able to inspire the world. My goal is to provide you with content that would make you proud of your heritage, but also motivate you. Today, I would like you to meet the mindset maven, Miss Charmain Guerrier. I had the pleasure of sitting down with her and having just a casual conversation to learn more about her Caribbean culture and why all women need the charm effect. Now, when two Caribbean people get together, expect us to speak in our normal accent, okay? So let we go. Okay, hello, Miss Charmaine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you so much for participating in this case study. We want to showcase all our beautiful Caribbean entrepreneurs in the diaspora, just to make sure that people get to know you and they also know what you're about, and to bring awareness to all the amazing Caribbean people out here doing great things. So let's get started. So tell everybody what your ties to the Caribbean are. Where were you born and or raised?
But before I even get into that, Kanisha, I just want to acknowledge you, lift you up. Thank you for even having the thought process to doing this. I appreciate and I see you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. But for me, I'm born and raised in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. I moved to the States in 1999, so I did my whole life up until I guess age 17. You know, we grown at 17. Graduated high school and moved to the States. But also my mom's whole side of the family is from Dominica, so I rep in the DA as well.
Now, growing up, did you get to spend any time in Dominica? Did you visit Dominica?
Yeah, so I visited a few times as a child, and then I went older with my great grandmother passed away. So I've been there a few times.
So, what are your top 3 favorite Caribbean dishes?
Listen, I always tell people I love food, right? So it's so crazy because I'm on this current journey where I'm not eating any meat. So I have to kind of put that disclaimer out there, okay, first. But I love and still love, even if this journey oxtail. Like anytime I going home, like my grandmother always cooking oxtail for me because, you know, I come in, if I go in anywhere, like I'm trying this new Caribbean restaurant, it has to be oxtail. So I love a oxtail. I love a pate, right? So I love bread, period. So anything with bread and meat inside of it is like good. And then the third thing is anything that tastes good, Kanisha. Really, I just love food. So I'll just say those two, and then the third is reserved for whatever is tasting.
Anything.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I completely understand the struggle because, yeah, definitely. I love me some oxtail too. I love everything bread. Oh my gosh, it's so bad, but it's so good. So yeah, I could and then pate. I mean, anywhere I go, especially because my people are from Tatola. So every time I land on Tatola, the first thing we do is go get pate. Yes, I completely understand. So what do you like to drink? What Caribbean beverages are your favorite drinks?
I love fruit punch, right? So you know we have our VI fruit punch. Once you have that guava, the guava in it is like you know, VI fruit punch. But I love fruit punch. I love sorrel.
Mm-hmm.
And just as simple as coconut water. Like
Oh
I could
yeah.
like all day, every day.
That's actually a good one. Most people don't even mention coconut water, but it's so true. And it's so good
Mhm.
for you.
Yes.
So, name a song by a Caribbean artist that either touches your soul or it just causes you to just instantly stop whatever you're doing every time you hear it.
Hmm. So, from time we were young, when this song by Kassav come on, everybody went crazy. That's a classic Dominican.
Yeah.
That song there, when it played as a child, it's so funny growing up. We thought that was a Dominican song. And then we get to the States, and then Haitians think that's a Haitian song. And it's not even a Dominican or Haitian song, right? That's just to show how Caribbean people just identify and cling to that song. So even now, in my grown age at a party, if that song come on, I on the dance floor. So, yeah, that Zouk song by Kassav,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That is so true. And that's one of the like the universal songs throughout the Caribbean because everybody know that song.
Yeah.
Everybody. So what I know you say you moved in 99. And that's a long time, Charmaine. Wow. That's a long time. I don't think I actually moved until like later in the 2000, like 2005, I think is when I moved up here. But what do you miss most about living in the Caribbean?
I just miss a sense of community, right? Right now I'm in my car. I call this my mobile office, and I could look around and could see my neighbors. And the person across the street, we know them by face. I don't know their names. The lady next to me, I know her name, and she knows us. She's a lady that knows everybody. But just on my street, I really don't know their names. I don't know who they are. But growing up, we know every neighbor down the hill, across the hill. We know all the people, and it had a sense of community. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I miss living at home is the true sense of community and knowing your neighbors and knowing who you are around.
That's so true. That is very true. Very true. Yeah. And I couldn't even tell you who my neighbors are. I know them by seeing them, but I don't know them by name at all. And
Yeah.
then too, it doesn't help that I'm an introvert. So I won't even like introduce myself. I would just say like, good afternoon. Or if I'm outside, just wave. But other than that, I don't do much. So why did you decide to leave home?
Well, like I said, I left for college. Um, it wasn't I ever thought that I would go to UBI. I always wanted to leave to go away. I wanted to experience life outside of the island. So I left just to go to college. I initially wanted to go somewhere else, but I ended up getting a full scholarship to a school here in South Florida. So that's why I came and I've been there. And I like South Florida because it's a mixture of both. You in the States, but you still feel like you home. It don't get too cold, it don't snow. So I love it here.
Had you ever thought that after you graduated from college, you were going to go home and then just your path changed?
I thought about it, like I thought about going home and doing something home, but I just like it. I think sometimes it's good to visit and it's good to spend some time there, but it's just something about being able to go back and forth. I really enjoy doing that.
I do love South Florida. When I first moved up, I moved to Miami. And then shortly after, I think about a year after is when I moved up to Jacksonville, and I've been here ever since. But
Mhm.
I definitely love the vibe in South Florida because, as you said, it is certainly a mixture and it's a good starting point because it's not too much of a culture shock. And
Mhm.
it definitely gives you that homey feel away from home.
Right.
So, yeah, I completely understand. Now, by you being up here, did you run into any issues, any type of adversity living outside of the Caribbean? And if so, how have you been able to overcome it or cope with it?
I mean, the first thing I would say, like talking to you, because I know you from home, instantly my accent come out, right? It's like my home girl, somebody from home, I could speak. That was the first thing. Like people like, huh? What you saying? Slow down, girl. It's like, what? Like instantly I felt like I had to change something that was so natural to me to be understood. That was the
Right.
first thing. because I have my VA accent. And then, of course, if I talking to my mom or anybody from my mom's side, that Dominican accent came in, and it was just natural to me. So the first thing, it was kind of like shifting. Do I want to hold on to something that was near and dear to me, or do I want to adjust so people could understand me? I don't have to keep repeating myself, right? So that was like the first thing. And then it was like, um, the culture of, oh, it's so different, right? Like, you guys are different. You guys don't do this, or having to apologize for the education, that we had, and being able to know certain things, wondering, okay, should you dumb yourself down, or should you stand up and just be, right? So those are the first things. And then just adjusting to it being different. Like, I heard you talk about, saying good morning to your neighbors and stuff, and recognizing that everybody don't say good morning, everybody don't have the manners, everybody don't do the same thing that we do. Hygiene ain't the same for us as people. So I think those were kind of the first kind of controversial, the kind of barriers I would say that I met. Other than that, I think it's been a real smooth sailing for me. I'm usually a type to get along with much, and being able to adapt and weave myself into different situations. So outside of those few adjustments, I've been good.
That's good. No, it's funny you say that, because that's one thing that you don't really take into account, but it's so true. It is so true. That accent thing. I know for sure, like, I always used to see like my aunts and so who moved to the States, and like when they come back, they would have more of like a cultured accent. And I was like, how you like I never understood how people would lose their accent, right? It just didn't make sense to me, because I was like, if that's how you to talk, that's how you to talk.
Right.
But coming to the States, I do see that if you because I do it too. Like, I could switch when I go to work. And it started out like that. It started off like, okay, I am so tired of repeating myself. And then I'll be like, oh, and then two, it's like, okay, sometimes to get what you want and to get it like the first time, you do have to kind of conform a little bit. But like my husband, he like, I remember coming up here, and he would just go to the drive-thru. Yeah, give me a sauce. I'm like, you have. I was like, they don't understand you. Alaj, alaj, and I was like, and they're like, come again? What?
Right.
He had no care in the world. But me, on the other hand, I was like, okay, I always used to try to control my accent a little bit. Not completely gone, because everybody at work know I have an accent, but just not speak as raw, just be a little bit more understandable. And as the years went by, because it tripped my coworkers out. Like, some days, like once I get a phone call, if I talking to my mother, like everybody had to just turn, because they want to know, like, that's how you really talk? Well, why don't you talk like that normally? I'm like, yeah, because y'all not gonna understand what I'm saying. But
Exactly.
I do want us to be in spaces where we could just feel comfortable, because sometimes when you are consciously controlling your accent like for a long time, it is draining. It is very, very draining. And sometimes just to be able to just come home, because I talk to my kids how I don't normally talk, and luckily, for us, we talk how we normally talk, and then my sisters and the rest of my family, we just talk normally. But when I go to work, I turn it on, and then when I come home, is more like a regular thing. But some days it is very draining, especially like if I had to do like oral presentations or training or things like that. It is exhausting. It is very exhausting.
Even now, like you saying, training, like that's what I do for work. And I know, because it's so funny, I made a post, like, one of my 2023 goals is to bring my accent out more, right? To be my true authentic self includes speaking how I spoke when I was a child. And now when I do trainings and I'm like, okay, guys, so if you do have a little something coming up, a little twang or something, I am from the Caribbean, I'm from the Virgin Islands. So I kind of put that disclaimer out because some words that just come out like,
Yes.
and it just like, I don't want to say thing and it's just too much. It just messes with my flow. So if I could just
Yes.
put the disclaimer out, if you hear a little twang, that's what it is. Go with the flow. If I too fast or you don't understand, just stop me and I'll explain or slow it down.
That's true. For me, the word is both. Every time I say BOTH, it just come out both. Like, so I would be talking to my boss and I'd be like, yeah, both are you? And they're like, both.
That's funny. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Tell me more about what you do, being a certified life coach, more about your business that you have and your entrepreneurial journey. So, like, who are your customers? What solutions do you provide for them? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so my company, I'm the founder and CEO of the C.H.A.R.M Effect, right? So of course my name is Charmaine, but C.H.A.R.M is an acronym that stands for Change Happens After Renewed Mindset. I've always been the type of person to be optimistic, glass half full. I've been a cheerleader since middle school. I've always been rooting for other people, rooting for the team, even when things ain't looking good. And that's always been my personality. So I wanted my brand, my company, my business to kind of represent that it all starts with the way you think. It all starts with your mindset. And the life coaching thing has always been natural to me, right? As a person that people always come to talk, confidant, run things by, listening, sounding board for people. I've always done that. And I've always had like little friends to say, you know what, like, come and let me give you some tasks. Let me do this. And I would do the life coaching thing without even knowing it was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So then I decided, what part of me helping, if I could monetize that, that would be great. And that way people would kind of respect my time and not just feel to just pull everything out of me for free. Mm-hmm. So with my life coaching, I do one-on-one life coaching. My target audience are women, right? Business mothers, business women, mothers, fellow entrepreneurs who just can get stuck from one place in their life, not knowing how to get to another place, how to be the best version of themselves. And I also do group coaching for women who want to advance themselves in financial literacy. So it includes how to get into stocks, how to get into trading on a basic foundational level, right? So my coaching goes from that. And as you can see, my background is the Renewed Journal. I have a digital journal and it's a 7-day mindset shift because a lot of people want to journal and it just feels so daunting to journal every single day, especially if that's not something that you do. Right. So I have a 7-day mindset shift journal just to get people started in the journey of journaling, kind of figuring out where to begin, what type of things you want to do. And you can start for 7 days. And if you want to continue, you continue. So my goal for this year that's coming is to have it printed, right? So have a printed journal and then have an extended journal for women who want to continue on that journey, because I've learned that journaling, right, changing the way I think, being positive really helps me with getting through. Life is not easy for any of us, right? But I know if I didn't have that certain mindset, if I didn't think a certain kind of way, I wouldn't be here smiling, feeling good about life as I am today. Not looking like what you've been through is really a key thing for me.
Nice. Well, definitely, I see you showing up all the time. Your consistency is probably the biggest thing that stands out to me every time. I mean, your Mindset Mondays, she comes on and she is committed, always has a positive outlook, always has a message that is always timely, right on time.
Good evening. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend and I hope your Monday is going well so far. Today's topic for Mindset Monday is whatever you do, make sure to show up as the true you.
So if you are not following her, definitely make sure that you do, because your Mondays will definitely start out great with her Mindset Mondays every single time. And
Thank you.
I remember one time I had messaged, I was like, oh wow, it's been a year. You're like, it's been over a year. And I was like, oh my gosh. But the fact that you keep showing up and showing up and showing up, and also holding yourself accountable, because there are some times where you show up and you're honest with everybody and be like, listen, I had a lot going on today.
A lot going on. Didn't want to do it. Not even looking like I come on. Some videos I look real bummy, right? Like it was one time I was like getting ready to go to bed and I was like, I ain't skipping. So I just leave my hair wrap up and I just like do the video and a lot of times I'm speaking to myself, right? Like sometimes I play back my videos just to encourage myself, right? Because I know I'm a woman. I'm an expert at being a woman because that's all I've been. So I know how women feel. So if I know I'm speaking to the issues that I'm speaking to when it comes to confidence, health, being assertive, relationships, your mindset, your kids, entrepreneurship, if those things resonate with me, then I definitely know it will resonate with other people. So I kind of have these videos not just for everyone else, but for me. And also I have 2 daughters, right? I have twin daughters that are 6. And I want that they could have something that's kind of like their mom's legacy that they could always go back to and watch and be uplifted in whatever time in their life that they're watching those videos.
That's powerful. That is really powerful, but it's so true. It is so true. And it also helps knowing what that motivation factor is too, that keeps you going. So that's awesome. So tell me, what is it that I would say? I know you mentioned that one of the main factors, making sure that people were not wasting your time, is something that came to you naturally and you wanted to monetize it. But also, what kind of motivated you to step out on faith and go that route versus just doing your normal 9-to-5 job?
Got it. First thing first, money. Like, I ain't even gonna say something else. Money. It's like you want something more because you have this lifestyle, you have this thought process of how you want your life to be. Like growing up, we didn't know we were poor. We didn't know poor. We didn't know impoverished. We just know you have and sometimes you don't have, right?
Right.
And it was enough just to live and it was good. Like I had a great childhood, right? But I knew well enough that if I wanted more, if I wanted to be able to say yes more to the things I wanted and yes more to the things that my kids want, and I know that it's going to cost money, right? Money creates luxury, money gives choices. And I knew 9-to-5 really wasn't cutting it, right? Like I had been in my job for years and I could count and see how much raises we got, how much more we got. And as I got exposed to different things, like my grandmother always been in multi-level marketing and I've always seen her doing that stuff. So I've always, been interested in it. But once I really got into it myself and I saw the stories, I saw how people lifestyle change. I saw when they were like, they created like the most millionaires outside of entertainers and sports people. I was like, oh yeah, I could do this. And all I have to do is talk to people and meet people and get people to like something that I like. I was sold from there. But one of the biggest things in multi-level marketing is personal development. So once I got heavy on personal development, reading the books and all of that, I was like, in addition to the money, I could live a really fulfilling life, helping other people doing something that I love. So it started off with the money and it's still there too, but it's really now the purpose, right? Like when I go, it's like they say you die twice, right? You die the physical death and then you die when people no longer talk about you. I want to make sure that I only die once, that I die a physical death, but my name, my impact, my vibe, my essence, my energy is always there. So that's why now that's keeping me going, like the legacy of it all. The money is good because sometimes now I don't even do stuff for money. Like I'll coach people, I see people, I do stuff, give away stuff. But the impact, the things that come back, the things that people will say, like you said, some days I hear a message and it was like, you was talking directly to me, or that thing helped me. So the money is what started it all, but the purpose, the impact of it is a selfishness for me, where I don't want to die twice. One physical death, but I want to always be living in the hearts and minds of everybody else.
Wow. So what's that one specific thing that you would love to be known for? Like what would it be?
So I coin myself as your favorite mindset maven. Like anytime you have to think about shifting your mindset, like Charmaine, like, okay, Charmaine. So anything with mindset, thinking positive, always looking at, what I can learn from this, always thinking about if I shift my mindset, I could shift my relationship. Shift my mindset, I could shift my health. Shift my mindset, I could shift my money, right? Like whatever it is that you're lacking, knowing that a switch in the way that you think can change everything for you. So being known as the mindset maven, the Mindset Monday lady, right? Like I would walk through at work and people would be like, happy Monday, happy Monday. Oh, I didn't know you guys watch my stuff. So it's like being known for the happy Monday girl or the mindset Monday girl, or just like the mindset person, the charm, right? Change happens after renewed mindset. That's what I want to, be known for.
Awesome. So I follow this coach called Myron Golden, and he often talks about that we have all been put here for a purpose, right? But he talks about our purpose being to thrive in our creative space in order to make the world a better place. So my question for you is, what is your ideal creative space to be able to do what you're doing?
I want to be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, right? I've worked in child welfare. This coming year will be probably 18, 19 years. I think I'm on my 18th year right now. And I dealt with being a caseworker, dealt with being a supervisor, did quality assurance. And it's so funny, I was talking about it the other day that I told my bosses, like, I want to coach and train for free. Like, I'll do it on my spare time. You guys don't even have to like pay me. I'll do it. And they were like, yeah, okay, good, right? So I was like, oh man. So I keep applying for another position. And I didn't get through, right? I did a personality test, and for whatever reason, they're like, no. I was like, oh man. So in my current job, I like, I'll do this. Let me do this. I started doing little stuff. I apply again for this job. Something happened and it was like, no. But it was just this thing. I need to be where I could make a bigger impact, coaching and teaching and mentoring. And finally, I got the position, and my old job was like, oh, you should have waited. I'm like, I've been saying this is my element. This is where I felt like best used, this is where my gift is. Like I have a gift of talking to people. I have this energy. I have this thing that I didn't even know what it was, but I just know when people were around me, they felt good. Or when they left me, they felt good and they felt like empowered. And I knew that whatever I had, there was this thing that if somebody were feeling something came over me to say this to that person, and whatever it was, that sometimes I don't even remember what it is that I said, help them. So I was like, this is my creative space. This is where I feel best used. So now I can do that, where I'm coaching, I'm mentoring, I'm seeing where people are struggling, and I could just have this insight, this download, and be like, hey, I could see somebody who's having a hard time and I could feel the energy, and I'm just like, hey, this is for you. Or this word is for you. At first, it was kind of scary. Like, what? Oh, these things coming. Like, I had to start writing stuff down. But I think, like, that is my creative space. Where I could create more is where I could help other people be better, be their best self. So in coaching, mentoring, consulting, that is it. I hope I answered the question. That's how I
Yeah,
interpreted that's how I interpreted your question. But I think that is where I could be my creative self. And I'm free to do it. There's no barriers because people are trusting that whatever I have is something they need. Maybe not for the moment, but it's something that they could use later on. And if I'm free to just be me, that is where I feel the most creative.
awesome. No, you definitely answered the question because it's like, where do you thrive? Is like, and you answered that. And that's good that you were able to identify that and continue work. Like me, I would have probably like, after the first time, I would have probably like, maybe this isn't my path. So the fact that you knew for sure that that's where you would thrive, that's where you belong, and you kept at it and you were diligent. I mean, congratulations, because you know exactly where you need to be and you didn't stop until you got there. So good job to you.
Thank you.
So tell me, what does culture mean to you?
Culture. Um, Culture is like essence, right? It's like the veins that carry the blood. It's like um yeah, it's what's in you, right? And culture changes as you get older and as you grow, but it's something about the essence of who you are. I feel like that's culture, right? Because I have my Caribbean culture. Like you, when I hear your Caribbean cultura, I like, yeah, like we have the Caribbean culture, but um I have a culture of being in a family of strong, independent women, right? I have a culture of having, good family that's with me. Like you guys see my last name. My husband is from Haitian descent. So I have that culture. Now I have kids who are proud Haitians and all of that, proudness that come from it. So it's like culture to me is just the essence of who you are. Like I have natural hair. I'm part of the natural hair culture. So it's like
Right.
of the puzzle that creates who you are and makes you you, that essence, I think what I would describe what culture is.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. No, but it's so true. And I definitely love the mix of the Caribbean culture. Everybody in the Caribbean, and even through like the different experiences and different heritage, one thing I learned is that we are all more alike than we are different. We might
Yeah.
call foods differently, but it's the same thing. We might add a
Mhm.
little extra spice on here, or we might curate it a different way, but ultimately it's the same thing. Sometimes I find myself like, they'll ask me like, well, what's this? And I'm like, well, this is this, but we add this, you know what I'm saying? But we are all more alike. And usually when I speak about our culture is more so a collective culture, because I feel that I have had enough experiences to know that we are all the same.
The same. Yeah,
And
the
we just need to
music,
celebrate that.
the fun, the food, like all of that
Jokes,
is yeah, yeah, the
family. Yeah.
family, everything, right? Like this year was the first time that I did carnival as an adult, right? Like as a child I did the majorettes, but as an adult I couldn't, right? Like after my mom really got into the church, I was bag up,
Hmm.
couldn't had to watch Juve on the parade from like up the hill, right? But it was something about me turning 40 that I wanted to experience that part of my culture, right? It was an essence, it was a puzzle piece that was just missing to be who I am. So being able to experience Carnival in Miami really just made me appreciate being Caribbean, right? Being a woman, being just me
Yeah.
in this, right? Like you felt just alive and you felt like being your true self. So all of that is culture for me.
How was that experience for you?
Oh, I going back. Oh yeah. We will be back. I have so much people like, oh, you did it. Like, I want to do it. Like, I'm going to start a little group. Like, okay, let's see who come in. Save up your coins. Like, we going because it's like a no. That is the essence of us, right? To just all the other stuff aside, to just have fun, drink, eat food, dance, laugh.
Yep.
That's culture, right? Like it came to the Caribbean, it come from our African ancestors. That's just us. And it's just a vibe that I like, oh yeah, I missed this experience long enough. I definitely will be back.
Good, 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 good. That's awesome. And to me, it's fascinating to see carnival in the different islands. Like I follow a lot of Caribbean creators, and every time they showcase like a different carnival in a different place, and we all celebrate carnival, but each person they may call it carnival or festival, or you know, like
Yeah.
they all have their own terminology, but the idea is the same. We all come together, we have fun, we cook, we do a lot of the traditional foods, we have a lot of the traditional drinks and the costumes. We have some islands that do, you know, the jab jab. We have other islands that do the mukajumbis. We have other, like, it's so fascinating to me just to see how each person, we all do the same thing, but everybody has their own essence. Everybody has their own spin on it. And I think it's just so amazing that we, being like the descendants of all the enslaved people from Africa, come over here, made our own culture, made our own, you know, we continue to thrive, but we still have our own identity. And I think that is so, 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 so cool. Like many times, like I'll be scrolling, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. They do that or they do that. But I think it's something that at least everybody should experience once. And yeah, it's just a fun time where you just get to be your authentic self. And I think usually in those spaces, I probably just speak the most raw ever because you just like it's like so freeing.
Okay.
And just be free, you know, it's I think we all need it. And it also helps with that mindset thing too, because you have to be, in order for you to thrive anywhere, you have to have the right mental state, the right mental capacity. And I think when you can hone into that culture, that thing that makes you you, it makes you a better version of you as well.
I agree.
But so my last question for you, if you could only choose one, would you choose coconut, guava, or pineapple?
Oh, that's a no-brainer. First of all, let me just start this. First of all, pineapple ain't even a native fruit for us, right? Like it's like somebody who said they tired of pineapple just being on ham and a fruit
Oh
cocktail.
gosh.
Let's find something else to do with pineapple and they turn it into a tart. Guava, on the other hand, I could see why guava, right? But guava could be more of a jam, a tart, right? Again, somebody, I okay with guava, but to pick just one, team coconut all day, every day. Like, no questions asked. Team coconut. Coconut is a staple. Talk about culture. Like that is culture. Coconut water, coconut tart, coconut bread, dumb bread.
Oh,
like
yes.
We use coconut for everything. Why should it be second when it comes to tart? So coconut tart, team coconut all year.
Awesome. Love it. Well, I definitely enjoyed spending time with you today. Is there anything that you want to say in closing?
Yes, I just appreciate you. This was fun. This was nice. I love talking to you. You know, you always been one of my favorite people from a long time. But I thank you for this. I thank you for the opportunity to, just share who I am, what I am about. If anyone wants to follow me, you see my name, Charmain Guerrier. You can find me on Facebook or Mrs. Charmaine on Instagram. Also on YouTube. I'm trying to build up my YouTube because they say that's where the money resides. So I'm trying to start up with YouTube. But the last thing I want to say is your mindset, right? Like, so before you want to do anything, I know we're coming up to the new year. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions. I say instead of a New Year's resolutions, do a new you visualization. What do you want the new you to look like? What do you want them to sound like? What do you want them to dress like? What do you want them to appear in this world like? And then shift your mindset to already think you are that person. And in 2023, become. So that's the last thing that I want to say.
Well, thank you so much, Charmaine. Continue doing what you're doing. I mean, you are shifting mindsets. You are helping people out there. So just know that this is definitely the path that you're supposed to be on. Continue following your purpose because we really appreciate it. And like I said, never once have I watched one of your videos and said, okay, that doesn't apply to me. Like, it's always right on time. Okay. So I'm telling you, continue. You're doing an awesome job. And if anything, like I said, your consistency is motivation in itself. Every time I see you, it makes me, you know what, get up and go record that video. Get up and go do that thing. Go edit that video. Go do that post because I just love your consistency and you are a motivation to me. Okay.
Yeah. And that's to me having other like-minded women that I'm connected to as well. And then I see other women doing it and it inspires me. You inspire me. So just know that the feeling is mutual. And I have other great women that I'm connected with that's doing great stuff that hold me accountable as well.
Exactly. Well, you have a wonderful afternoon and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What are some of the takeaways that you got from that particular interview? I'm curious, so leave them in the comments. And if you are a Caribbean entrepreneur that's currently living in a diaspora and you would like to participate in this case study, go ahead and send me an email. As usual, I am Ms. Dorset with CARIBCultura, and thank you so much for watching.